Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. Today I'm going to tell you about this absolutely stunning 2019 Mazda Miata RF Grand Touring. The Miata is one of my all-time favorite cars, and I tell a lot of people it's probably one of the best bangs for your buck you can get out there, and there are a few vehicles that are as much fun to drive on the road as the Miata. And the thing that's really amazing about the Miata is, okay, you know, you can have a Z06 Corvette. There's a lot of cars that are faster than the Miata, but just the way it communicates with you, how light and small it is, how it handles, it's just so much fun. And this is a car you can push hard on public roads, and it's very forgiving, and it provides lots of enjoyment. You know, faster cars, especially for me, if I'm in like a 500 horsepower Z06 Corvette, I'm going around corners, things can happen fast. I'm afraid that vehicle will bite me and throw me in a ditch or something like that, get in an accident or endanger my driver's license. While the Miata is slower, there's something to be said about driving a slower car fast, especially on public roads. So you can push this vehicle to its limits on public roads and curvy roads, and not put your driver's license and safety as in much risk in a high horsepower, higher performance vehicle. And this is a beautiful example. It only has 711 miles on it. Yes, no mistake, 711 miles. My guess is someone probably bought this thing and for whatever reason it didn't work for their lifestyle. Maybe it was too small for them. I don't know the reason completely why they traded it in. But I can tell you with vehicles like this, generally sports cars, you see them change owners a little bit more frequently. I think people buy these vehicles and then they, for whatever reason, they decide they want something else. This is not, I'm just keeping it real, this is not the easiest vehicle to live with as your only primary vehicle, because it's only a two-seater, it's limited in cargo space. I made that mistake myself. I had a Miata. I had a 2004 Miata, which I absolutely loved. It was so much fun to drive. One of the funnest cars I've ever owned or ever driven, and I've driven lots of cars in my 20 plus years in the car business. But I'm 6'2", I have an active lifestyle, so living with a small two-door convertible as my only vehicle just wasn't cutting it. And I was living in an apartment at the time. I didn't have parking space to park another vehicle, so I ended up trading it in and getting a much more practical Prius. But for you, maybe you're looking for a vehicle that is a secondary fun car, something to take out on the weekends or drive for fun purposes, and then you have another vehicle that's kind of your main transportation for going to Costco trips or driving the family around. Then this vehicle works out awesome. And the Grand Touring version is decked out with lots of creature comforts. The Grand Touring is generally Mazda's range-topping trim level. This one has a beautiful leather interior, nice stitching, and the synthetic leather on the doors. Notice that the top part of the door panel matches the exterior color of the vehicle. A very lovely shade of red. This one has navigation, heated seats, backup camera. Oh, I love manual transmissions. It's almost a shame to get a vehicle like this with an automatic. Myself, I do not buy these at all with automatic transmissions. Of course, we'll take them in trade, but I know people who buy these cars, they are driving enthusiasts and they prefer manual. Obviously, if you have like a disability that limits you from using your legs or your arms to shift gears or use a clutch, I can understand. But anyone else, really, you have no excuse to not get this vehicle with a manual transmission. It is just absolutely such a joy to use. And for 2019, it's a great year for the Miata because Mazda increased the power pretty significantly. It was 155 horsepower, and they increased it, I believe it was to 181 horsepower. That's a pretty significant power increase, and this thing is not a very heavy vehicle. And with that power increase, it makes it the fastest Miata to date since when I read the article about it, and you can too, there's a nice article, archived article online from Car and Driver. This is the fastest Miata that they've made since it came out in 1989. Even they had a turbocharged Miata briefly, and I guess this is even quicker. 0 to 60 in about 5.8 seconds. Trunk space is pretty generous as well. It actually has a little bit more trunk space than my 2004 Miata. And the thing I like about this generation of the Miata is that for a while the Miata was getting bigger and heavier, kind of getting away from its original roots, where with this particular generation of Miata, I believe it came out in 2016, they made it lighter and they made it smaller, and they kind of went right back to their roots of the original first generation Miata that we saw in the late 80s, early 90s. And this is the RF model, which has a retractable target top. So instead of a full manual folding soft top like in a regular Miata, this has a folding target top that stows right in the middle here so you don't lose your trunk space like on some retractable hardtop convertibles. In a minute I'll put the top down so you can see how it looks with the top down and how it works. But you'll also notice that it has kind of like a fastback look to it. It has a little bit more coupe-like styling versus a roadster styling with that nice sloping roofline on the back. It really is a sharp looking vehicle. This also has a 5-day 100% money back guarantee. Want to make sure that you're happy with what you buy from us. And you happen to live in a different part of the country, we have a very big pre-owned business. We sell vehicles out of state all the time. We can arrange shipping just about anywhere in the US. Call us for a shipping quote and we can help get the vehicle licensed and registered in your home state. And in most cases, you're just going to pay sales tax if applicable where you live, not in Washington state, if you are an out-of-state customer. So going towards the retractable hardtop, or target top, it's very easy to operate. You just have a button right here. The top one is to put it in the down position, and the bottom one is to put it in the up position. So here we go. And there we have it. Well, it's not like a full open air driving experience like you have in a Miata of a folding, manual folding soft top. It still keeps that fastback look to it. And I assume, I'd have to drive it myself, that you're probably going to have a little bit less wind buffeting and wind noise with a target top configuration versus a full folding soft top. But obviously I would have to drive one myself to know for sure, back to back. And the rear window also goes down, so not only do you have a opening up here, but you also have a opening back there for fresh air, and they have this little thing right here to help cut down on wind buffeting. You have built-in roll bars on the seats. Really is a beautiful looking vehicle. If you're in the market for a Mazda Miata RF Grand Touring, this 700-mile example is a great one to consider. When you buy a new car and drive it off the lot, guess what? It just became a used car, and it just took one of the biggest hits of initial depreciation from going from new to used. Someone's already done that for you, so if you like the options and color combination, this is really a great value, and it's a great vehicle to live with all year round without having to deal with all the shortcomings of having a cloth soft top like poor noise insulation, susceptible to damage, can get cut, tree sap, stuff like that. You're gonna have better noise insulation with this folding target top, and it's gonna look a little bit better in the up position versus a convertible cloth convertible top, which looks okay in the up position, but really cars with convertible soft tops, they really look their best with the top down, where this looks good with the top up or down. Thanks so much for taking the time today to watch this video. Hopefully we see you in our store very soon, and have a wonderful day.